Hello, welcome back to Genshin Impact. We're reading some more books. And if we don't actually have said books, we can go look for them. Also gives me a reason to go back to the Serenity Pot. I usually go over here every 1 or 2 days. 3 days, well, that's just because I should be coming here every day. I really want to get rid of Rosaria from here, because I already have her in my party and I could put someone else here. Where is it gonna get fixed? God dang it. Okay, Paimon. How's it doing? Check my achievements first. Get Inugami's End. 2 Rifthound skulls within a short time. Oh, that's it. Oh, whatever. Male, Gala Lab, and Serenity Pot. I guess it's coming out with 2.7, but since 2.7 is delayed, so... Might have to see if I can find the last spot of Volume 5. Might have to Google these and look for them. No, Google, I'm not actually talking to you. By God. Everyone's a bit, up themselves. You know what? I'll actually look it up. Let's see. Diary of Roll the Adventurer, Volume 5. Camp at the northern tip of Yanghuang Shoal. Alright. Northern tip of Yanghuang Shoal. Yanghuang Shoal. Northern tip. Which tip? This tip? This tip? Which tip? This tip? No, it should be around here. Yeah, which tip? By God, be a bit clearer. Maybe here. I'll go over there. So from here, head west. Come on, Qingzhou. Your greatest duty awaits. To collect books. You would imagine it'd be here. Oh. I don't mind if I do. No. Aha! There we go. Okay, what I need now is, I think someone's diary. Volume 4 of someone's diary. At the bottom of a letter in the dockyard of Luhuan Harbor. Makes sense, because I never really go there. Okay, Luhuan Harbor. Dockyard. Oh, here? Here? It's most likely here.
この件はわかるかい？
遁走の僕
Bottom of the ladder. Bottom of a ladder. A ladder.
動くべきだ。
This ladder? There's no ladder here. Liar! I don't see no ladders here.
Yo.
I don't see it here either. It's kind of inside, cutting through. The textures are kind of intersecting.
Hey.
Whatever. I don't think it matters.
Yo.
I was actually crawling around. I do not know where this ladder is. I might have to do an image search of it. Oh, there's a chest up there.
Hey.
Oh, there's another chest here.
お手柄だ。じゃあ寝てもいいか？よ。はあ。
Dang, got a lot of chests there.
ほい。えい。あ。
Excuse me? What ladder? Oh, bloody hell. Seems to show it here.
Hey.
Do I have to talk to you? Alright, do you need something? You are... Me asking who I am, a strong pair of eyes. Name's Hamily. Nickname himself. Apparently all I'm good for is bash my Hamil Dealer. I wish One day the gods will smile on me and give me a vision. Vision? Oh, about them. I'm interested in them too. And as long as you want something badly enough, a vision will be right beside you, ready to do your bidding. That'd be incredible. As for me, I just want a vision, plain and simple. I've dreamed of having one every day since I was a little boy, but so far I've had none luck. And a vision will be like those legendary martial nomads who command the wind and rain and cast lightning. Where are you, my vision? I've waited my whole youth for you. No, it doesn't seem like it. Unless it's other dialogues. Yes, yes. Tell me about your work. My work? It's not bad. Not much to say. I hammer this, hammer that. Occasionally an old fart hammer just Xiao comes and gives me an earful. Anyway, I'm not getting any younger, and this job ain't gonna help me start a family or buy a boat or a house of my own, no matter how long I do it for, so I don't have any big hopes for the future. Makes sense that he'll have a diary of sorts, but no luck. What about the ladder? What? Apparently it's here. Right next to Hammer Lee. Unless it's playing tricks on me. Wait a minute. Am I just missing volume 4? Damn it, I've been going out the wrong one. God damn it. Yeah, red tent north of Jinyun Peak waypoint. Jinyun Peak. Assume it's this. Just north of this. In a red tent. Oh, there it is. I can seize it already. Come to me, my book.
相手を間違えたら
I guess it's their book.
いでよさいはっ震えなさいはっ
Well, kind of possessive about my books. Oh, here we go. Two finished thingamings. Let's go back to the pot. Confirm. Oh. Confirm. Teleport. Stuff. It's good to get those stuff out of the way. Still have yet to explore Leah. I guess it would have all been avoided if I actually explored Leah. But, what do we have? Paimon. Okay, Diary of Roll the Adventurer. Oh my god. You know what, whatever. Volume 1, a diary left behind the famed adventurer Roald. The pages are littered with a small amount of shiny but bitter soul crystals. Oh, if he's so famous, how come I've never heard of him? Except for that time at Watatsumi Island. It's the first time I heard of him as like Roald. I thought he spelt the name Ronald wrong or something like that. Saltore. My shoes are completely waterlogged after trekking here from the banks of Dihuan Marsh. The last time I took them off to pour the water out, a frog jumped out. From the scale of this ruin, I suspect it is the temple that provided safe refuge for civilians during the Archon War several millennia ago. Ah, so the temples existed before the Archon War. Okay. I've heard that the god of salt built such a place. Ah, yes, of course. The folklore holds that she was the gentlest of the gods. In the brutality and chaos of wartime, human beings were puny and disposable. But the salt god refused to join the other gods in their senseless battle for dominance, instead choosing to give shelter to those dispossessed by the war. She brought them here to build a new settlement. She showed them kindness and comfort, even as global upheaval ushered in the end of an epoch. She worked tirelessly to bring about a return to peace between the gods. It seems that most parts of the ancient city have sunk into the riverbed of Bishui River. It's fortunate that the foundation of the temple is still here after all this time. She amassed a group of followers who settled in the area, now known as Saltore, and lived a humble existence. The city stood for several centuries, finally falling with the downfall of the god herself. The gentlest of the gods fell not in battle at the hand of the other gods. She fell at the hand of one of her own people, the people she had loved so dearly. He was the first king of the people, and also the last. He had once loved the god of salt, just as the rest did. But as a mere mortal, he ultimately could not fathom the self-sacrificial love the god embodied. He sought after military might, in the hope that the city might be able to hold its own in defense and attack. And so, to demonstrate that gentleness was a virtue unfit for the times, he took a sword and ended the life of the lone, defenseless god. No sooner had she met her demise than the temple itself collapsed and the people's city crumbled like salt into the earth. As for the treacherous king's fate, theories abound but none are certain. Some say he continued to reign in solitude from the ruins for centuries, finally turning to dust long after the cries of war have subsided. The ruins had been engulfed by the river, and insects had hollowed out his scepter. Others say that he took his own life after taking that of the god, unable to bear the guilt of deicide that weighed upon his conscience. In any case, the people on whom the god of salt have once looked so fondly became scattered across Liu, the safe haven of Liu Harbor under the rule of the Geo Archon. They and their stories survived, and that is why we still hear about them to this day. Rumors say that the Salt God's body can still be found somewhere in the depths of the ruins. Though her body has turned to salt, it still maintains her posture from the moment she was struck by the king's sword. It looks like we're in for some heavy rain. Dark clouds are gathering as far as the eye can see. I better get moving. I'm going to head northwest to Mount Qingzhou. Hopefully I can make it there before the rain gets too heavy. And hopefully it's not such a mad dash that I lose my diary en route. Ah yes, he's forgetful, that's why he keeps diaries. But he keeps losing his diary, so... Yeah, we learn about Soul Terrain from Zhongli's main story quest. Volume 2. Darius left behind the famed adventure roll and a makeshift camp. Looks like new and smells like the fragrant herbs of Mount Qingzhou. Qingzhou Village. Leaving Dragon Spine, I waded through rivers, walked across shoals covered with silver grass, and made my way through sun-dappled bamboo forests, before finally arriving at Mount Qingzhou. My shoes and clothes were all soaked from the heavy rain. Luckily, the elders in the village were kind enough to let me hang my clothes in the assembly hall. They even prepared dry clothes and some food for me. There were many children in Qingzhou Village. Sweet as they may be, they can become quite clingy. There were also many elders here. People living here seemed happy and carefree. The elders said that most of the young people had gone to work in Liu Harbor. Many of them already had a family there. And they will send money back every month. Having seen the prosperity and convenience of the city, it's hard for these young people to get back to the rural life here. Liu Harbor has brought peace and prosperity to Qingzhou Village for the time being, but eventually it will also be the cause of its demise. Yeah, all the young people go there and they'll just be left with the old people, and then Qingzhou Village will be gone. Unless it'll get repopulated by young people, which can happen, because it's a nice tourist destination, that's for sure. Legend has it that the word Qingzhou originated from the name of an ancient monster, Qi. Qi, of course, is what we call it now in the contemporary language, but in ancient times the people of Liu pronounced it as Qingzhou. Oh. An elder said that thousands of years ago, Morax defeated the sea serpent and brought peace back to Liu. After Qi died, its body turned into stone. Its blood became water and its scales are now the terraced fields. I see. The monster's nest became what we now call Mount Qingzhou. but after a quick look, I believe the mountains consist of mostly rock shattered by impacts from the outside. No traces of a Hydra monster can be found in the rocks. Perhaps the corpse of Qi is long gone, and this monster turning into a mountain thing is nothing but an ancient tale. My next destination is the lake located amongst the stone peaks of Jinyun Cast. It is said that there is a labyrinth where the Adepti live. Let's see if I can find them. Diary of the famed adventurer Royald, left by the lake. It tells of his plans after his adventures on Mount Yanghuang. Yanghuang Lake, Jinyun Cast. I seem to have lost yet another diary. I don't understand. I even made sure to say to myself 3 times, whatever you do, don't lose your diary. But then I got caught up in my adventure, and it went straight out of my head. I waste so much paper every year. I do hope that the Danger Archon won't mind. I've arrived at a mountain lake located high on Mount Yanghuang. To get here, I had to hike up a winding dirt trail, make my way across perilous wooden walkways built by the herb gatherers in ancient times, and then scale a steep wet cliff. I was told by some fishermen that the lake is 1,000 furlongs deep, but after taking a dip in the water, I can safely say that the statements were pure hyperbole. The Qingzhou Village elders were right after all. The mountain lake's water is sweet and warm. This place certainly lives up to its reputation as a celestial paradise. Back when I had just arrived in Jinyun Cast, an old farmer told me that the Adepti possess a mysterious magical ability that lets them turn into mist and roam in the sea of clouds. I dismissed it as an old wives' tale at the time, but seeing the way the mist over the lake rises up to the summit and emerges together with the sea of clouds, does make me wonder. The Adeptus I've been searching for could be roaming the clouds at the summit right now, for all I know, and I would be completely oblivious to it. I headed east, down Mount Yanghuang, and ended up thoroughly lost in a thick forest. Finally, I came to a clearing and discovered I was back at the banks of the Bishui River. I have an excellent view of the surrounding area here, so I think this is where I'll camp for the night. While I was sorting through my things at the camp, I met a young lady who looked like she was out on a treasure hunt. She was called Eduarda, and she explained that she was heading west to look for a miraculous lake at the foot of Mount Yanghuang. Legends tell of an Adeptus who lives beside a lake at the foot of Mount Yanghuang on the northern side. If that's true, and that's sure to be where the Adeptus keeps their secret treasure too. Mwahahaha. I know exactly what I'll do when I get my hands on that treasure. Then she quickly changed her tune, as if suddenly realizing how she sounded. I'd contact the guild and report to them that if I found it. I'm a proud member of the Adventurers Guild, and I have absolutely no connection to the treasure hoarders. Indeed, some adventurers are in the business for material wealth alone. I'm reminded of that classic Luya saying, to each their unfathomable own. But whatever her motivations, she's a fellow adventurer nonetheless, and a genuine one at that. Must say, I was tempted to head west in search of this fabled miraculous lake myself after hearing Eduardo talk about it, but in the end I decided to stick with my existing plan. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, I will proceed to the Guili Plains to see what sights and treasures are waiting to be discovered there. And hopefully I won't lose my diary again this time. Again. Barring any unforeseen circumstances, I can't lose another one. May any unforeseen circumstances be well and truly barred. Diary left behind the same adventure Ron and a makeshift camp. It seems to have been dipped in water, with the watermark of a fox's footprint. Luhuan Pool. Traveling southeast along the Bishui River, I came across the pond at the foot of Mount Tianheng on the north side. The water is clearer than the sky, and the water temperature is similar to a human body's temperature. The water has a sweet aftertaste. A local herb gatherer told me that thousands of years ago this pond was once a garden. He said that during the era of the Archon War, two lovers, whose families disapproved of their relationship, made this place their rendezvous. However, the times were merciless, and the man left his lover to follow the Geo-Archon. He plunged himself bravely into the conflict as a mortal among gods. And like so many mortals in those dark days, none heard from him again for centuries. The girl wandered the garden, awaiting the return of her lover. The flowers withered and grass grew in their place, soaked in a flood. Grass rotted, and when the flood too had subsided, and to dust she had returned, her tears then converged into this pond. Perhaps it was her deep longing that made the water here so clear and gentle. I spent an afternoon here and nodded off while taking a bath in the pond. When I woke up, the stars were already glittering in the night sky. I noticed a baby fox slinking around me, but he got scared and ran away when I looked up. Not until later did I realize that one of my shoes was missing and my bag of provisions had been ransacked. It took longer than I expected to pack my luggage. My next destination is the delta of the Bishui River in the northeast, Yanghuang Shoal. And this is the one I was missing. Yanghuang Shoal. Wait, there's not even all of it. God damn it. Is there like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? I'm missing 8. I'll come back to this one. Let's see. In a tent atop the mountains south of Qingzhou Pool. So here. Head west. Oh, could be right here, actually. Aha! A nice spot. Too bad I got my Serenity pot. Ah, that was it. That's all of it. We're up to Yanghuang Shoal. You're left behind by the famed adventure roll. The pages smell like the sea breeze. Yanghuang Shoal. This is the delta of the Bishui River, where the sand and mud carried by the river has accumulated into an open and flat shoal. When I finally arrived, the shoal was shrouded in a blanket of fog. My new shoes were soaked again. Heard the sound of some unknown monsters coming from the fog, but couldn't quite tell their exact location. All that was left to do was sit up the tent and wait for the blasted fog to drift away. When I was staying at the Wangshu Inn, a merchant told me about the legends of Yanghuang Shoal. He started with a poem. Jade-lusted waves wash into the ocean, while a conch lay empty on the white shoal. The meaning of the poem is that the sunlight, pure as jade, glimmers on the surface of the Bishui River, and seems to flow into the sea along with the river water. But the green conch lodge on the Yanghuang Shoal has been unoccupied for some time. I once ventured into the fog to visit the seashell sanctuary, but didn't see the owner. A legend among fishermen has it that the green conch lodge was the home of an adeptus, the green conch itself in fact constituting part of her very being. She provided shelter for travelers who were lost in the fog, took care of the shipwrecked survivors, and bid Godspeed to other adepti on crusades against sea monsters. But older fishermen interpret the legend differently. They say that the seashell sanctuary was not the abode of an adeptus, but of a family that had lived in the giant seashell for generations. They devoted themselves to helping the lost and saved many fishermen's lives. Seems the fog is drifting away and the sun is almost visible now. Next up, I'll borrow a boat to get to Moonstone Forest and visit the ruins where the Geo Archon vanquished the sea monster. I shall arrive in no time at all if the weather is good. Darren left behind the famed adventure roll by chance. The pages are damp and seem to have been soaked in water. Ugh. Moonstone Forest. We skirted past a few small islands occupied by hilichurls, managing to steer clear of their line of sight, and made it to Moonstone Forest successfully. 6 giant stone pillars kept the sun out of my eyes as I went ashore. It was remarkably cool in their shade. The crabs on the beach were big and meaty. Maybe it's because the area has been nourished by the remains of a magical beast for millennia. Anyway, they taste great roasted. The sheer beauty of this place makes it hard to imagine that it was once the site of a bloody battle between the Geo Archon and the sea monster. Suffice to say, the blood once shared here has long since vanished into the sea without a trace. I suppose that everything pales into insignificance when faced with the scale of the sea. Whether it's a single drop of an ordinary person's blood or rivers of blood shed collectively by the heroes of the past, the relentless flowing of the winds and waves are destined to wash every last trace of it away. In the end, everything will be just as it has always been, since time immemorial. Legend has it that the Geo Archon once carved a great giant polearm out of the rocky land. He plunged it deep into the ocean, riding it straight through the body of the demon that wrought chaos upon his domain. Over the years, the wind gradually eroded the stone polearm into the form we see today. It's multiple polearms. Later, I'll return to the mainland to camp out for the night. From where I am, I can see the ships leaving the harbor in the distance. As I write, the Crux is setting sail once more, embarking on his next grand voyage. I wonder what mission the Qixing Commerce Guild has entrusted to the legendary Captain Beidou this time. I had the most awful night's sleep last night. I dreamt I was somewhere pitch black and damp. Suddenly I was a sea monster, and my impaled body was being driven into the ocean floor by the Geo Archon's polearm. I writhed around and clashed at the giant polearm made of rock, trying desperately to free myself, but it was wedged firmly in place. Each movement I made filled me with agony, and with rage. Note to self, Moonstone Forest is not a good place to spend the night. I woke early, so I lit the campfire, and I'll move out once the sky is bright. My next stop is Luhuan Harbor. I just need to be somewhere that I can get my clothes washed, beard trimmed, that sort of thing. Once I've sorted myself out, I'm making another trip to Dreamcast. I didn't make any progress on finding that Adepti last time. This time, I think I'll try my luck at Jinyun Peak. Another note to self, do not lose my diary again. So, it seems like Osal is still angry. Very, very angry. Volume 7. Diary left behind by the famed adventure road, the pages have the scented flowers that grow on cliffs. Nightglow? Nightshade. Something like that. Jinyun Peak, June cast. I shall preface my adventurer's diary with a stern reminder to myself. Recently, I keep discovering that I've misplaced my diary every time I feel like I want to write it. Oh, world, you must learn to be more careful in future. After climbing for what feels like an eternity, I have finally reached the top of the precipice. I'm surrounded by a sea of clouds. It's impossible to know where, in the midst of that sea of clouds, I once stood looking up at this celestial place where the Adepti dwell. Apart from the few oddly shaped trees, there are barely any signs of life here at the top of the precipice. Occasionally, a lapis glede will let out a high-pitched cry before diving down into the clouds and disappearing from view. Up the hill here is the Adeptus' dwelling. But there's a few things I need to sort out before I head up. The most pressing issue is repairing my climbing gear. I'll also tend to a few cuts and grazes while I'm at it. Kind farmer gave me some ointment when I first arrived in Dreamcast. It stings, but it really does work. Nights atop the precipice offer little in the way of comfort. The relentless wind above the clouds pierces to the bone. It's difficult to shelter oneself from it because it finds its way to you through all the tiny gaps in the tent. There's no way you could keep a campfire alight in this wind. Good night's sleep is therefore out of the question. I wonder if the Adeptus who dwells at the summit ever gets lonely and dispirited being surrounded by nothing but the cold, heartless wind. At the end of a long and sleepless night, I finally watched the moon set into the sea of clouds. I'll make sure my pack is securely fastened. Then at daybreak I'll begin my journey to the summit where the Adeptus dwells. Hopefully, the altitude is high enough that it won't rain. Volume 8. Diary of Renowned Adventurer Rolled. Spots of shiny green moss can be seen among the pages. Qingzhou Pool. Yeah, this one we just got. To stop me from losing my diary yet again, this time I put a marker made of moss on the leather case. That really stands out in my backpack. It's perfect. Tonight I'll put it beside my pillow before I go to sleep. There's no way I can lose it then. Honestly, I don't think I can keep calling myself an adventurer if I lose my diary one more time. A misadventurer, perhaps. I headed westward from the mountain pass at Mount Tianheng, came to a ruin, known locally as Qingzhou Pool. The entrance to the ruin is located right in the center of a giant rocky outcrop rising up from the center of a shallow pool. It is surrounded on all sides by steep cliff faces. There are several stone towers, which blend in seamlessly with the natural scenery put here by the Geo Archon. The morning mist is beginning to clear, and the first rays of sunlight are starting to illuminate the mountains and ruins. It looks like it'll be good weather today. Legends say that these ruins predate the Geo Archon's rule over Liyue. The whole of Lisha was covered by water at the time of the Archon War. And back then, this rocky outcrop was nothing more than a little islet that rose above the water's surface. After peace was restored, the region of Lisha unfurled once more, as the tides withdrew, revealing the ancient buildings erected by the early peoples. Back when I was at Yanghuang Shoal Inn, I met a scholar from Sumeru called Soraya. Ah, it's her. She had done a fair bit of research on the ruins in Lisha. When she got talking about it, she could talk all day. What she told me was that these ruins were left behind by an evil god. His name had been wiped out from the record and its people. But in the end, the sea gave way to the forests and fields. The self-serving god was defeated, and the strongholds and temples of the ancient city the god's people once built were left to crumble. That is how Qingzhou Pool came to be. The ruins were submerged until the long Archon War finally came to an end, emerging on the landscape as the tide subsided. Maybe these crumbling remains have been left as a nostalgic reminder of a bygone era for the Adepti and the other deities. In any case, this is a calm and tranquil place that has, for whatever reason, remained entirely unperturbed by the relentless development of Liyue Harbor and untouched by the mining operation based at the chasm. It has just been left as is, right to this day. Perversely, the only disturbances have come since the mining at the chasm has been halted, as monsters have now occupied the ruins here. Let's just hope they don't destroy anything. It's a simple theory, but I need to gather more evidence. I should keep heading north and visit the ruins at Lingju Pass and Dunyu. I ran into Eduardo again, just before I set off. She seemed to be traveling with a partner this time. She must have a busy adventurous schedule. It seemed like I blinked and then she disappeared off into the ruins. Wonder who was her partner. Journal left by the renowned adventurer Roald. Some of its pages damaged and crumpled, and a few shimmering ice crystals are attached to them. Volume 9, Dragonspine. I began my ascent of Dragonspine from its southern side, where the mountain meets the riverbanks and plains of Liyue. The mountain slopes gently. Here. The wind is soft and the snow is light. Added to the unfrozen water sources, it makes this place a good choice for setting up a base camp. Once I've prepared my supplies, I will make a camp here before continuing my climb to the summit. After setting up camp, I took the chance to survey the surrounding ruins. What intrigued me is that the architectural style and artistic patterns were strikingly similar to those seen in ancient buildings elsewhere. This could very well mean that the fabled mountain civilization of old is right beneath my feet. Unfortunately, I did not find any well-preserved inscriptions within the ruins, so there was no hard proof of the ancient civilization's historicity. Perhaps I will find more information is preserved further up the mountain, buried deep within the bitingly cold blizzards. Spending the night here is an unpleasant experience. The cold, damp wind chills to the bone, and the way it shakes the tent sounds like the roar of a rushing river. Guaranteed nightmare material for once you do manage to fall asleep. There's a cave by the water, and it must be spacious in there, because I can hear the ghostly groaning of the wind echoing inside. Unfortunately, the entrance is tightly fenced off, and there is simply no way to get through from the outside. I'll start advancing further up the mountain a little later on. There's some remnants of the relatively recent past by the path, which, if I am not mistaken, can be traced back to the era when Mondstadt was ruled by an aristocracy. I dug up some fragments of clothing and some irreparably damaged weaponry. The dense snow and ice seem to have slowed down the decomposition process, preserving any pieces of the past that they swallow up for a long time to come. The way that the items were distributed leaves me to believe that a chase once took place here on this mountain path, or possibly even a murder. Seems that even fierce blizzards and sinister mutations pose no obstacle to humans intent on following through on their dark ambitions. In the end, this Archon-forsaken snowscape has become stained by mortal transgression. As I climb further up the path, the wind becomes stronger, and the temperature plummets to an unbearably low level. I scouted out a ruin to the northeast, where to my utter astonishment, I found water. It was somehow unfrozen, in defiance of its perennially blizzard-beaten surroundings. From the location, I could estimate that it is linked to the stream I saw further downhill. However, this area is so cold that I could not afford to explore deeper inside the ruin for the risk of freezing to death or drowning. I left a makeshift sign there to mark the spot. I just hope that it doesn't get buried in the snow. I suppose that once upon a time, this could have been an underground shelter, and that over the years the groundwater has seeped in and flooded it. But I have also heard that the tyrants of the distant past were partial to a form of punishment whereby they would jail a prisoner, lock them in a cage, and then slowly pour water in, just so they could force the prisoner to watch in alarm as the water slowly rose up from their ankles to their mouth, nose, and finally their forehead. Such a cruel and drawn-out punishment, and in the sheer cold of this climate, it is all the more impossible to imagine that any managed to survive it. Further to the east, the road becomes more rugged. I had a stupid accident and very nearly broke my leg because of it. I was lucky to only receive a superficial wound and no major bone injury, but also tore a great big hole in my windproof clothing. So now I feel the full force of the wind right against my skin. Feels awful, like being stabbed constantly with a sharp knife. I managed to find shelter from the wind before my wound went completely numb. I just about managed to sew my clothing back up, but there is no way I can continue to the summit like this. Made it back to camp, finally on the verge of freezing to death, as I warmed my feet by the bonfire. I removed my socks and found that 3 of my toes had turned purple from the cold. But no matter. Right now, I'm still enjoying the feeling of coming back to life after such a close brush with death. When the storm died down a little, I looked up and caught a view of the peak, towering there silently against the dark sky, encircled by giant jagged rocks and yet secluded among them in the center. The bard songs tell of an ancient evil dragon who lies buried there in the mountain stream. I wonder if it too yearns for the celestial heights, even as it gazes up with its rotting and blinded eyes. Many villagers who lived at the foot of mountains liken this monstrous mountain to a blind spot in the eyes of the gods, a place ruled by the inscrutable force of fate. Old Mondstadt fairy tales speak of the mountain as a place of punishment that was abandoned by the wind of time, and left for the howling winds to seep in and freeze everything in its moment of destruction. Yet something still stirs here. At the peak of the mountain I heard its call in my dream. It was like a gentle song, pleasing to the ear, but somehow disturbing to the mind. This trip was a disaster, but at least I came out of it alive. Farewell for today, Dragonspine. Perhaps I shall return, though I do not know if I'll ever make it to your summit. I think I will explore Luhuan next, but first things first, my top priority is replenishing my lost supplies. Oh, and while I'm at it, I think I'll swap this soggy old diary for a nice new one. Oh, I actually replaced that one. I actually remembered that time. Diary left behind my famed adventure Rolled, the pages bear both the refreshing scent of sakura flowers and the bitterness of tobacco leaves. Rito. It's already been a few days since I've arrived in Rito, and yet the Kanjo Commission still shows no signs of letting me pass. I don't know how long I'll have to stay. I hope Mr. Kurisu will find a way to get me out of here. Mr. Kurisu is the local commerce German. Originally from Fontaine, he is reserved and friendly gentleman, possessing a certain charm that other outlanders makes feel at home. I'd heard that Inazuma didn't welcome travelers, but it wasn't until I set foot in Rito that I realized the severity of the situation. The Sakoku Decree has been in effect for some time. While many travelers have chosen to stay on the island, many come and go, staying for only a brief period. Many merchants also packed up and went home. Rito, in its current state, is a gloomy and depressing place. It is said that hundreds of years ago, Hiroshi of the Hiragi clan built this commercial port. He recruited talented merchants to set up shop here and encourage free trade. Rito flourished and prospered for some time, but poor Hiroshi will probably turn in his grave if he knew the state that Rito is in right now. Still, his descendant, the current Kanjo Commissioner, seems to be living a good life. It's enough to leave anyone feeling rather resentful. After a few days, Mr. Kurisu brought me some good news. He's heard that the Crux fleet will stop by briefly in Inazuma. There should be a way for this famous armed fleet to smuggle me to another island, he said. I just need to be patient. Don't know if Mr. Kurisu's information is reliable, but it's always a good idea to be prepared. First, I must think of a way to get my camp making and fire starting tools back from Miss Eureka. I'll beg if necessary. It seems that the Shogunate has attacked another Sangonomiya outpost, inflicting many casualties. Or was it the other way around? A few islanders who remain have all been gossiping. Even those in service of the Commissioner have been spreading various rumors without fear. It is unclear what has happened, but still more merchants have packed up and gone home. Many military ships have come and gone at the harbor, probably carrying emergency military provisions. Perhaps I can take advantage of the chaos and confusion to retrieve my stuff from the warehouse. Oh, and I must also remind myself not to lose this diary again. There are diaries with covers that are more beautiful and elegant, of course, but that's no excuse for replacing the old with something new. Diary left behind by the famed adventurer Roll. The pages bear both the moist smell of the fog and a certain fungal scent. My exploration of Tsurumi Island has not gone smoothly. Earlier, it was thanks to a local youth named Kama that I was able to leave Rito successfully and arrive on Tsurumi Island undetected. At his direction, I tried to penetrate the thick fog that shrouds the island and somehow managed to catch a hurried glimpse of the ancient civilization present here, as well as a certain dreamlike landscapes. However, these memories seem to have dispersed just like a mist might, but I can still clearly remember meeting a small child on this supposedly long-dead island. Perhaps he was nothing but a hallucination. I saw under the influence of elemental particles floating through the fog, or perhaps the mushrooms on the island were to blame. That child may have just been an illusion or false memory. This would certainly follow common logic, of course. But the second time I came, I brought a little more food with me in hopes that the child would accept them. It must be hard living on a dead island like this one, I thought. Next time I came ashore, I did not inform Kama and thus got lost in the thick fog very quickly. Tried all means and ways but could not find the way through the fog. It was as if it was rejecting me for reasons unknown. If it were not for that blonde-haired traveler, and the little fairy named Paimon, I would probably have had to return empty-handed. But they helped me pick some local fluorescent fungus, which is rumored among Inazumans to have coalesced from the memories of the ancient dead of Tsurumi Island. What? rumored among Inazumans to have coalesced from the memories of the ancient dead of Tsurumi Island, which gave them their phosphorescent ghostly glow. They possess the ability to strengthen the eyes and mind and improve one's memory. Tried some over the last few days, and these fungi do indeed have the ability to calm the heart and cheer the spirit. It appears to be good for digestion as well. That said, I haven't seen any marked improvement in my memory yet. I must remember to leave a few for my friend in Sumeru to conduct research on. Additionally, I found pictures of ancient murals that the blonde traveler and Paimon brought to me to be most fascinating. They were certainly worth further research. That we were able to discover such valuable historical ruins at all is owed to the passion, wisdom, and determination of these two exceptional adventurers. Bleh. Well, that's just rumored. You know, it's not necessarily true, right? Coalesce from the memories of the ancient dead. So it's just memories, if that is. Even that team. Volume 1, a letter treasured by Dongdong from Qingzhou Village. It seems to be a letter from his father. Dear Dongdong, time flies, doesn't it? It's been nearly 3 months since I left. Do you miss me? Do hope you're going to bed on time and not causing any trouble for Grandma and Grandpa. I'll be back from Inazuma very soon, and I promise when I get back I'll take you to see the Crux's ship down at the harbor. Won't let you down this time. Dongdong, do you remember the beach at Yanghuang Shoal? Well, I went there and I collected lots and lots of beautiful golden sand, more than I can carry by myself. When I'm back, we should buy up the local mill and make fresh tofu every single day. Although I'd rather use all this gold to buy a house in Liu Harbor, a huge house with a splendid sea view. I'll let you decide how to spend it when I'm back. How's that sound? Guess what? Just opposite Luhuan Pool, the Guili Plains, there's an enormous cliff. What did I find there? A ruin guard. He was just sitting there, slumped over, completely still. He didn't flinch even in the thunder and lightning. Not even when the rain was pelting down on him. Then I realized he must have been sleeping, so I climbed on top of him and threw my arms around that big old head of his and twisted it as hard as I could. There was a clunking noise, followed by a loud boom. Then suddenly his head fell off and rolled straight off the cliff, smashed into a million pieces at the bottom. Shame, really. Otherwise I would have brought it home as a trophy, and you could have had a proper up-close look at what a ruin guard's head looks like. Imagine that. I also went to Jinyun Cast. I must take you there when you're older. The scenery there is incredible. The billowing clouds look like an ocean. The waterfall is infinitely better than the one at Qingzhou Village, and you can sometimes catch a glimpse of the realm and the Adepta in the mountains. Can't begin to imagine how beautiful it was. And guess what? You're not gonna believe this, but I met an actual, real-life Adeptus. We sat and drank together, chatting and laughing away. The Adeptus gave me a gift, too. A magic wine bottle. All you need to do is blow on it and an infinite supply of wine will flow from the inside. You absolutely mustn't touch it though, you understand? You're way too young to drink. When you're older though, all my treasures will be yours to do with as you please. My adventures in the coming to an end. It's time for me to head to the harbor. We'll hop on the Crux's ship and sail off somewhere even further away. We're starting to see what wonderful sights and valuable treasures are waiting for me at the next stop, and I can't wait to share them all with you. Till then, Dong, please make sure you go to bed on time every night, and don't eat too many sweets, they'll rot your teeth. Please also be nice to your grandma and grandpa. Seriously, don't do anything to make them mad, and no fighting. I'll be home soon. Lots of love, Daddy. Daddy X. Nice. Anyway, Volume 2. Diary left behind by someone in the wilderness that tells of the owner's unfortunate encounters at Yanghuang Shoal. Yanghuang Shoal. The fog is setting in again. The idea of padding for gold here has turned out to be a complete waste of time. I should have known not to trust this old mining crew. It's been several decades since the last of them retired, That last bit of information they gave me is completely out of date. Utterly useless. Useless. They just turned it into a complete farce. Now instead I'll be going home empty-handed tonight, but the chances of me finding my way home when you're all in this fog are looking slim. I hope Dong Dong's eating dinner. I can hear hilly trails somewhere in the distance. Oh, Dong Dong. I have no idea where I'm going in this fog, so I suppose I'll just focus on walking away from the hilly trails' voices. Hopefully I'll make it out alive. I don't know how long I've been walking, and in this fog I don't know if it's daytime or nighttime. Hang on, those silhouettes up ahead? I see up ahead. By the good Christ, gee, oh Lord, maybe I can join along with them and find a way out of here. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. Hooray, I'm saved! On a closer inspection, the silhouettes didn't look like friendly characters. I decided to set up camp here and wait for them to leave before I figure out my next move. I have to go back the way I came. Hey guys, I can hear. Hey guys! What? Can you hear chills all around me? I should definitely end the diary content. Darren left by someone in the wilderness tells of the owner's unfortunate encounters at Greely Plains. What a string of bad luck. Finally made it out of that hilly trail camp alive, only to end up nearly being killed by a ruin guard. I figured it was probably out of action, given the way it was sat there completely motionless in the torrential rain. But then a bolt of lightning struck it around the head, and there was some whirring and grinding, and suddenly I was back to life. I was powerless to defend myself against it. It lifted me up like a baby bird and tossed me from the top of the cliff. Luckily, amidst my frantic scrambling, I managed to duck into a cave at the foot of the cliff. It was out of his line of sight, so he gave up trying to find me. If not for that cave, it would rip me to shreds, throw me to the ground, and then stumped me into I don't even know what he called it by that point. Surely it must be well away from here by now. Even so, I can still hear the droning noise it made, like a swarm of bees buzzing around inside my head. I think I must have broken my arm because it hurts when I put much pressure on it. I hope that I'll be able to manage, though in any case, at my age I need to grin and bear it. I mean, what would Dong Dong and his mother think of me if I didn't? Dreamcast. Near the foot of the cliff, I ran to a herb gatherer who helped me set the bone. I almost passed out from the pain, but he did say that most passersby he meets who have survived an encounter with a ruin guard tend to be less physically intact than I am. Every cloud has a silver lining, I guess. From above, Jinyun Castle looks completely untouched by human activity. It's just a shroud in mist, and to add to the mystery, it's impossible to know just how deep the mist goes. Strange noises can be heard coming from the other side. Can be heard coming from the stone forest. Whether it's illuminated beasts or celestial beings in there, I don't know. All I know is it made the hairs on my back of my neck stand up. With any luck, I should be able to pick up a quality chunk of amber here, or maybe some highly prized medicinal herbs. I know that back in the day, many of the poorer village folks made their fortunes and built their lives in the air by selling herbal medicine. I see no reason why I couldn't do the same. It rained heavily in the evening, which meant the cliff face was too slippery to climb up. I also couldn't find my climbing rope or axe anywhere. It's strange. I'm not the type to lose things so easily. Bet one of the monsters lurking in the mountains pinched it when I wasn't looking. Maybe it was a fox. After several days of fruitless searching, I finally found some good medicinal herbs, so I'm getting ready to head back. I had wanted to do one final search, but this place was starting to creep me out. As soon as night falls, I keep thinking I see shadowy figures following me everywhere. Also, the blood-curdling cries of some unknown species of monster are now coming from all directions. They're getting closer. During my descent down in the mountain, I came across an old wine bottle. Gave it a rinse with some spring water, and found it's in good condition. Bet Dong Dong would like it if I gave it to him as a souvenir. Just thought that was a treasure given to me by an Abdiptus. Just random shit. Liu Harbor. Sold the herbs at the Boo Boo Pharmacy. Made back everything I've lost, plus a little extra. At this rate, I could buy a house in Liu within the next few years. Just in time for Dong Dong to sell there before he starts school. If I'd studied harder when I was younger, I wouldn't have ended up getting involved as scumbag treasure hoarders. I also wouldn't have squandered the inheritance my father left me. This makes me think I must be Dong Dong a good teacher and makes him study hard. It's the only way he'll make reliable friends and not end up like his wretched old man. Also, for Dong Dong's sake, I can't give up now. I have to find a way to make a good living. That said, I couldn't get the idea of making a quick fortune out of my head, so I tried my luck at the Jade Mystery. I hadn't intended to spend any money at a place like that, but the boss, Shito, was very persuasive. He talked me into putting all my money into it. I didn't do too badly. I cut open the stone and I bought and found it to be a high quality jade. Then again, that one brief foray into the world of gambling on stones meant that to pawn the sickle and medicine box are used for foraging for herbs. I'm penniless now, sure. I got some good jade pieces from gambling on stones, but jade isn't easy to shift. So it looks like I'm back in survival mode again. I think I'll head overseas and see how it goes. I should try joining the Crux. Here's hoping Captain Beto will take me on. I'll happily scrub the deck if it comes down to it. I haven't eaten in 3 days. All it has is a bit of jade, huh? Jinren Island. After stealing a small boat from the pirate ship, I rode for 3 days before finally reaching the shore. From here I can see the legendary Takayama on Narukami Island, along with the giant sakura tree that grows on it. The colors of the sacred sakura are gentle in the moonlight. It makes me think of home. I wonder if Dong Dong feels lonely in Qingzhou Village. I don't know if I made the right decision, coming all this way just to make a living. It's probably me just getting old, thinking about all this nonsense. I stumbled upon a purple melon while exploring this remote island. It tasted astringent and rather lacked taste. My teeth and tongue turned purple from eating the skin, and it took a while for the color to fade. Next time I'll try cooking it before eating. I set up camp, and at first light I'll walk south. I heard the pirates say that that's where Inazuma is. There should be plenty of job opportunities in the city. Maybe I should give up the foolish idea of adventuring and find a real job. When I've saved up enough money and bought my own house, I'll send for Dong Dong to come live with me. Besides, the housing here is much cheaper than in Liu Harbor. Is it now? Farah's Melancholy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no 7. Alright, let's look for that. Vera's Melancholy. Missing 7. Outside of Dawn Winery, apparently. Well, looking for these books a nice break, actually.
Yo.
It's not up there, is it? Oh. Maybe I should actually look for these spin crystals. I say look, but you know, it's more like just look it up. Hey. Eternal Youth. Nice.
うん。いつになったら背が伸びるんだ。
I wonder if it's on the interactive map. Genshin Impact interactive map. Radiant spin crystals. Where are you at? Aha. Very nice. And let's turn off the other thing. Very nice. Okay. So that was one. There's also one over here. Here it is. Spin crystal. Nice. And there's one right by the road. Right by the road.
颯のごとく
Right by the road. Maybe I got it already or something. Oh no.
風向きにした
Okay. Let's get the ones in one shot. Hey. And then there's one next to the forge. There's one over here somewhere. Don't know exactly where, but it's around here. Just grab some mushrooms. Because these are such a pain to get. Alright. Roughly around here. It's like on this roof or something.
Hoi.
Should it not be here? Pretty sure it's here. Anyway, let's go for the one forge. Ah, there it is. Make sure my elemental's on it. Okay. Well, it's just a grey thing. Oh, there it is. Okay, that's area covered. Ah, yes, there's one at the very back of the cathedral. There's the Yanghuang Shoal Inn. Oh, intermolesting.
Hey. Hey. Yo. 遁走の極
Alright, it's supposed to be right
風
here.
向きにした風
Found it.
よ
Alright, where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh.
遁走の極意
Haha. Okay. Qingzhou Village. There's one in Qingzhou Village. Two in Qingzhou Village. They're very good. Okay, this one's Chain the Ninth's place. So, yeah, pretty easy to find.
風向きにしほい
Hey. And one is a bit further down.
ほ
Around the main square.
よや
Yeah, I think it's around here. Damn it. Stairs.
遁走の極
Yeah. It's around here somewhere. Let me see. It looks to me. And I gotta get this dude chili.
Hey.
Apparently it's around here somewhere. Do you actually sell anything, Master Lu? No, we got it all. Yeah, what can be done? I guess.
Mm.
Makes no sense. It's here. Unless it's above. I haven't checked above yet. Like this how it's about reading books. All I'm doing is collecting collectibles.
Hey.
I suppose that's good too. Where is this radiant spin crystal? If I was a radiant spin crystal, where would I be? I would be right over here. Oh, there it is. Being a little cheeky motherfucker, aren't you? Bastard. Alright, let's get a Wang Shu in. There's 3 here. One on the port, one on the table, and one on the other table. say that. I can't actually tell what it is. Is it a table? What is it? Oh, it's a little crate. Let's grab this one at the table. Give me those sunsettias. That's supposed to be here. Maybe I already had it. Anyway. Oh. It's underneath. Trixie. Guess they're all on crates or something. Yep, there it is. All on crates. Trixie. Wait a minute, it's you. This the secret swordsman. Hey there, straight up there. Oh, you want to chat? Keep your voice down here. Don't scare the fish away. Who are you? Just a guy with a fishing rod and plenty of time on my hands. You really want to get on a first name basis, huh? I stopped using my real name a long time ago. Just call me Jiangsu. Are you a fisherman? No, you misunderstand. I don't fish for a living. Neither the process nor result of fishing means anything to me. It does help to pass the time a little quicker. If you want to fish, you can just have them. Just give me 5 fish. Don't they usually give the fish to, what's his face? The guy in, Yanghuang Shoal for him to cook Jiangsu meal? Why is there no boat here? A wrecked boat at that. Anyway, let's look for the next area. Just gonna look through and see if I didn't miss any. If I scroll out, then I can see it perfectly. Oh, show me that. How do I cancel that? I don't want you to show me it. No. No. I guess it's just gonna show me it. Show me the fucking sigil shit. I don't want to see it. Get out of here. Anyway, last one is Luhuan. Alright. Well, for this continent, and then I can go to Inaduma. Okay, this is by the port. Port City.
Say.
Ah, there it is. Oh, yeah. Okay. I think I got that one. There was one right here. I'm gonna float down over to it. I'm pretty sure I have that already. I don't know, I guess I was here collecting blaze lilies or something, and I chanced upon it.
Yup.
Yeah, There's nothing here. Okay, there's one over here. You know what? Let's go up. And they don't even care. Is it here? Or is it? Ah, there you are. What are you doing, girl? Admiring a fruit basket? I would too. Anyway, that is this area done. Okay, the last area is in Azuma, where there's quite a few actually. Quite a few. Okay. Let's start off in Inazuma. And right here. Next to the statue-ish. Ah, there you are. Hasegawa. Oh. Excuse me. I'm Doyen. What the hell are you? Hello there. Are you a tourist? Here to see the sights in Inazuma City? Tell me about the almighty Shogun. As a local of Inazuma, I'm a faithful follower of the almighty Shogun, just like everybody else. Thanks to her enlightened actions, our lives have been much happier of late. You mean the abolition of the Sakoku Decree? Exactly. While still in force, foreign cargo ships were banned and many imported high-end goods became things of the past. But now, I can taste Marshall's dandelion wine and I can order custom-made silks from Leah. That's the good life, wouldn't you say? Seems like you know a lot. Yeah, my family background, traveling abroad was a simple matter. Traveled a lot, so I've seen a great number of things. If you don't mind, I don't mind sharing them with you. Adventurous experience. I did not expect that. Oh well, whatever. So right here. Is it on the roof? No. Being extra sneaky, huh? No beer. Okay, wait. Kamisato Estate. It's been a while. Since I don't actually have to do my weekly commissions anymore. Unless I want to do it for my better pass. I always thought there would be one on this table. I guess not. Is there one around here? Right here. And then there's one. Might be on the roof. In there. There's my bath. Ah, there you are. And let's do the shrine. So that'll be a pretty easy one. unless I've gotten it already, which is possible, and I might be wasting my time.
Hey. No. Hoi. Hoi.
I'm pretty sure it's on this roof. Or something. Oh. Well, there you go. Okay, there's one on the other side of this thing. At the bottom of it. Afraid that doesn't say a lot. Or whatever. Geronimo! Of course. Must be on this guy's head. Eoroy! Oh, might as well have a little talk, Eoroy. Once upon a time, I was the renowned Bakedanuki Eoroy. One of these days, I'll definitely use 8 huge. Oh, it's you. Our fates are twined now, so ask me whatever questions you may have. Goodbye, Eoroy. Ah, that person will probably recite some complicated poem right now. See you around. Come and play with me when you are free. I mean, I'm a stone after all, so I've got nothing but time to play. Still remember his voice. Well, that's that. Yes, please. Oh, damn it. I'm stuck. Damn it. Damn it.
捕まらない。
Okay, it's around here somewhere, aren't us? Let's start from here. It's a bit north. Probably on this thing we need. No? So it says it's higher up, most likely around here. What's even here? In one of these little shrines? I mean up there. It's not like these things make any noise or something. Unless I did get it, and it's actually Eoroy. Oh, that can't be. That's way too close to the other thing. Way over here. So it'll be at this shrine thingy. If it was here. Did I get it already? It's up there. Well, who knows? I might have to look into this thing. Maybe I got it already. Because it looks like it'll sit right here. So anyway, we crossed the waters. And looks like it's right here. Go. Apparently that's it. I just gotta check out this one. Maybe it'll tell me what type, what number it is. Apparently spin crystal 56. So, just go to inventory and see if I have 56 around. Ah, I have a lot. One's gonna expire 5 days. Okay. 56. Indeed, I do have it. Okay. So that's the overworld. There is also Enkanomiya, there's also Chasm. Let's switch over to Enkanomiya. Oh, this shows the seal locations. I don't think I really need that anymore. I think I got them all. Anyway, the Chasm. Chasm doesn't seem to have any of those things, so I guess I have it all. Alright, let's deactivate spin crystals and let us read through some other book, I guess. Tier pot. Vera's melancholy. I'm just afraid it's gonna be too big. You know, whatever. Volume 1. I don't ever think the world is monotonous. It's just that interesting how things happen in faraway galaxies. The great adventure of Vera, an ordinary girl always fascinated by distant lands, secretly begins. Secretly? Okay. Endless days in infinite worlds. There are times when I think to myself, there's nothing to do in this tiny village. What a dull place to live. This wasn't the first time that Vera had complained about her hometown, the small country village of Delphi. Her frown eased slightly as she lay on the hillside near the village, eyes closed, feeling the breeze of the early summer. Then, where in this world would you not consider dull? Her body Sachi asked curiously. Vera sat up and leaned forward. I believe in the other side of the starry seas, a planet inhabited by gods who can answer all prayers and wishes, and everyone bearing a wish is on a journey to get there. I believe, in our universe, there is a world currently in a war against Doomsday, where the noble and elegant souls of 14 Valkyries burn bright, if only for a brief but magnificent moment. Valkyries? Is it talking about Honkai? I don't know if there's 14 Valkyries in it, so, but they are Valkyries. All prayers and everyone bearing a wish on a journey together there. So world currently at war against Doomsday, with the noble and elegant souls. Planet inhabited by gods. Would it be this one? Is this place inhabited by gods? Who knows? You've been reading too many of those weird fantasy novels. But this village really is dull. When was the last time anything fun happened here? Funny you should say that. A new family did move to our village recently. Novelty and fun aren't the same thing. Despite what she had said, Vera decided to pay a visit to the newcomers. Sachi, however, remembered his family's rules and walked back home for dinner. Oh, Sachi was a guy? Well, she... Vera gave the door to the newcomers and pulled a gentle push. Much to her surprise, it wasn't locked. Anybody home? No sooner had the words left her mouth than the living room cupboard doors flew open and out jumped a black-haired boy wearing glasses. He was followed by a tentacled blue slime. Make way, Tal! Why did you let a stranger in? The black-haired boy gently pushed Vera out of his way and picked up an axe by the door. You leave me with no choice. Since you have seen everything, there is only one thing for it. Thus began the biggest crisis of Vera's life. It's a pretty good intro, I guess. Everything's just boring. Everything's all the time. It's not depression, it's just reaching the age of 14. So begins Vera's adventure. My backyard is slightly bigger than the entire universe. All I can do now is ask you to help me. The black-haired boy, who called himself Ike, handed Vera a kitchen knife. He walked back to the cupboard and began slashing at the tentacles frantically. Come and help me close this door. If a tentacle starts attacking you, use this kitchen knife to defend yourself. Ike's glasses now covered in blue slime. Hurry! We can't let this evil demon cross into Delphi. Upon hearing his words, Vera helped Ike close the door. While they were pushing back the tentacles, Vera accidentally stabbed Ike twice in the back. Twice? Thankfully, Ike's healing spells were quite potent. Twice? No, first time was definitely an accident, but the second time? Are you sure that was an accident? I shall explain everything to you. I am in fact over 1,000 years old, and this door is a gateway to anywhere in the universe. That tentacle monster is an old one from the large Magellanic Cloud. Magellanic Cloud? I don't know. I went there to get something. Ike was covered in slime and head and foot by this point. He wiped his glasses with Vera's dress as he spoke. What? Is there anything else you'd like to know? Who's Tal? Vera didn't seem to mind. An evil spirit that resided in the man-devouring castle. It has served me as a butler since I subdued it. Strangely, it behaved quite friendly towards you. Vera's parents always reminded her that people are destined to build families, and that it was futile to entertain dreams of anything beyond the homestead. Her buddy Sachi once told her that if a lively girl like her was to marry someone from a faraway land, the whole village would become unbearably lonely. The real reason Sachi said this was that he was something of a weakling who was sure to be ferociously bullied if he ended up having to play with the boys. I thought it was because he liked it, but it's just that he'd get bullied if he played with it. Oh my god. The human spirit is still too immature. I need to guide you both through the wonders of your childhood. Ike extended his inviting arms to Vera. You'll sing every step of the way on your long journey to youth. From the Orion Arm to the eternal Yahanam. From the torrents of time to the depths of the starry sea. How far is beyond? Any place in this universe is just as boring as my backyard, he said. The scale of everything beyond follows the heart, Ike replied. Thus, my heart is slightly bigger than the entire universe. Okay, but I'm intrigued. The Andromeda Empire stretches across half the galaxy group. Every planet within the empire has its own demons and deities, dragons and monsters. I've come up with a story for every star from your home. That's not possible. Looking from here, the Andromeda Galaxy is only 1/5 of the size of your moon. So continues Vera's adventure. The man who stole the Lone Star. I'm the second rightful heir to the Andromeda Empire, and I have more than 200 titles to my name. You shall call me the Princess Andrew Basilisks. The charming girl then crossed her arms, savoring that moment of her entrance in her mind and giggling to herself in amusement. Her sole reason for gracing Delphi with her presence was to marry Ike. If you, he who conquered a quarter of the universe, marry me, my safety shall be guaranteed after my elder sister takes the throne. If I may ask, how big is the Andromeda Empire? Vera asked. I reckon there are more than 9,000 inhabitable planets. With so many stars in your possession, why come to steal my brilliance? What? So you aren't here to harm Vera? Sachi cautiously asked Ike, who was carrying the scrolls and globes of other planets. Of course not. I think she will make a great assistant. After putting everything down, he clapped his hands. You like her? Me? No, not at all. I don't like her at all. Sachi looked away, worried that the old sage might discern his true feelings. He reached for a box full of photo frames. He grabbed a few at random, each picture depicting a different beauty. Look at them. They all said that they gave me their one and only true love, but did they? In reality, I was just one of their many lovers. Sachi did not know when or where he had heard it say, but he blurted out his mouth in his moment of annoyance. With so many stars in your possession, why come to steal my brilliance? Oh. There is a saying that goes as follows. Not all that glitters is gold. Sometimes it is the outpouring of a broken heart. Either way, the stars in the sky certainly aren't made of gold, and most people's hearts aren't made of glass. In any case, here is the next chapter of Vera's adventure. All that glitters. The people in these photographs are also pretty, Vera exclaimed as she picked up Ike's box of framed photos. Of course they are. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had the chance to leave me with a photograph to remember them by. Ike had no intention of evading. After all, he was a galactic sage who was over 1,000 years old, so of course he knew that girls were easily hurt, and that they could become trouble very easily. Ike would thus never cheat a girl. Take notes, boys. Oh, okay. He's a real gentleman. Yes. A real man of the women. If that makes any sense. Having seen the starry host, I thus make star-shaped jewels to remember them by. He continued to explain. But those stars that shine across the universe do not belong to anyone, so it is also impossible to steal them. Vera did not understand. What are you saying? I'm saying this for the sake of a foolish fellow who isn't present right now. Pay no mind. Humans are just far too young. I will serve as a go-between between you and Ike, Sachi said to the Princess of the Andromeda Empire in a loud voice. Huh? I love Vera, I don't... Disgusting. Boring. Be silent, worm. You're an offense to my ears. I've already acknowledged Vera as my friend. I'll not hand her over to a cowardly person like you. What? Poor Sachi. You can't have picnics on the sides of a galactic highway. Even the deities will be held fully responsible for road accidents that might occur. The doorway to a study in a simple village connects to anywhere in space and time. Having tea with the deities, playing hide and seek across time, Vera's great adventure continues. Roadside picnic. When Ike was taking a nap, his servants waged a terrible war against each other. What? He was just taking a leisurely nap, and his servants just, just warring against each other. How powerful is Ike? Or maybe the war was more novel, they're doing a bake-off or something. The great wizard has subdued many gods and demons to serve under him. As the most formidable wizard of his day, Ike was in command of gods and demons more numerous than the entries in a dictionary. But who was the strongest of those under his rule? Gods and demons decided to find out for themselves through battle. I guess Ike was pretty powerful. I'm pretty sure they're not doing a bake-off. Unfortunately, they seem to have erroneously regarded as their own three who were neither gods nor demons, the Princess, Sachi, and Vera. Ike only slept for 2 hours, but in that time 3 stars had already been destroyed. Why should I protect you? The princess pulled her hand away, and the giant demon plummeted to the ground, its eyeballs gone. The dominant race of the Andromeda Empire may look lovely and sweet, but on their palms grew 2 special mouths, which they used to devour the eyeballs of their lovers and those they vanquish. What? Are we not friends? Vera wiped the blood off her face, and appeared to be hurt by the princess's words. Yes? The princess blushed and looked away. I really regard you as my only friend. For what has happened, I was not referring to you, Vera. No! Sachi yelled as the gnarly jaws of a dragon closed around him. Do you surrender to me now? The giant dragon sneered. I jeered. Surrender and concede that you are worthless, lowly wretch, and I shall let you live. I surrender! I surrender! Let me go! Sachi screamed. Why, a lizard of your despicable breed, you should know better than to utter such foolish words. Even the geckos in my palace could crush you. The princess gave her wrists a twirl. No, this has nothing to do with me, Sachi yelled as the dragon cast him into the sky. Just like that, the battle between the dominant species of Andromeda and the ancient giant dragon was over. Tomorrow, you won't get hurt if you just surrender. Sachi was knocked down in the contest and woke Ike up with the slap of a slipper. What? Vera also survived thanks to the protection of the princess. You imbecile. The music out of you is revolting. Do not come near me. Don't talk to me, don't look at me, nor breathe the same air as me, you lowly scum. The princess could not have a lower opinion of Sachi. She's just being bashful, it's fine. There was once a great scholar who wished to write a book about all the festive days of the empire. After looking into it more closely, he discovered that every single day had some sort of festival associated with it. He persevered this monumental writing task. Persevered. What's that? How do you spell persevered? I don't know. I guess I haven't really used it. It is monumental running tasks for 6 months before giving up on it. But don't worry. As far as this book is concerned, I am the author and I won't let my readers down. For every season. Though those things had indeed happened, there were occurrences on a galactic scale. Now, something more mundane was about to happen. The date of the town festival was drawing near. I suppose it's finally my turn to introduce you two to a small town then, Vera said as she served the princess and Ike her very own braised dishes. After all, these things they had encountered in their galactic escapades had to be explained by the princess and Ike. If there was any knowledge Vera had to present to them, it was the knowledge of her hometown. Afterward, the great king's first messenger, the brave knight Huffman, strayed west across 2 continents, crossing great oceans and rivers. As for the imperial sage, the witch from the east, she passed by her hometown on the road eastward, and then came by the land of the nether. Thus they finally met here. Huh, is that so? How interesting. Though she was trying hard not to let Vera know that she did not, in fact, care for the story at all. The princess's acting skills required some work. So that can only mean that this place is on the polar opposite sides of this world from the great king's capital, right? Right? Get him, Ike said, commenting on a seemingly unimportant aspect of the tale. That's true if you think about it. Vera rubbed the back of her head with a crooked smile. I've always said that I want to leave this place, but in the end I discovered that this is the place that I am most familiar with. Having come to this realization on the eve of the town's anniversary, Vera began crying right in front of Sachi's eyes. You numbskull! You made Vera cry! The princess made her entry with a flying kick, sending Sachi hurtling away. In the star clusters at the outer reaches of the universe, habitable planets are few and far between. For this reason, the region is the playground of space captains and pirates alone. With this being the universe, though, there is no port and starboard in the traditional sense out here. Starboard means whichever side of your spacecraft is oriented toward the star you are using for navigation. Lose yourself and especially your sense of direction in this next chapter of her starbound voyage. Galaxy Wars. Reigniting a sun is not difficult, but I don't think the Andromeda Empire would like to see that happen, I said to the panicked Vera. Do you mean that the princess has kidnapped Sachi? Vera said with some shock in her voice after giving the matter some thought. How'd you come to that conclusion? I'm saying that only the Andromeda Empire would be capable of kidnapping you and their princess. I then turned to face the innumerable lives that dwell within the galaxy. He paused for a moment before declaring thus, Inhabitants of the galaxy, though I have come here upon the invitation of the High Saint King Lebanon to reignite the flames of the few remaining stars, it seems that the Andromeda Empire does not wish for your longevity, and has thus kidnapped my friend. Are you then to put their lives over that of all life? Saint King Lebanon arose from her seat. If that is the case, then why then do I rule over these stars? Saint King Lebanon raised from her seat? God damn it, wouldn't be Queen? Finally, the Saint King would charge into peril alone, defeat the assassins from the Andromeda Empire, and rescue both the princess and Sachi. Afterwards, she had a few words with Ike. I didn't think you could defeat the dominant species of Andromeda, I praised. They're a strong and hardy race. I suppose it's true, then, that you defeat the Holy Dragon en route to becoming Saint King. I am, in fact, the same Holy Dragon. I fused with Lebanon's flesh and blood, and now act according to her wishes. Eh? Ike was a little shocked by this. Ah, yes. Is that fellow the second princess is fond of? When I barged in, they were... What? Now that was a much bigger shock for Ike. Captured Ike and Sachi... Princess and Sachi. And they were having a moment, I guess. Of course, boys aren't invited to the girls' slumber party. Girls are sacrosanct, like the girls of the Golden Age. Rare the princess, Saint King Lebanon, and alpha female of the galactic swarm, shall talk deep into the night. What? You have a slumber party? The girls themselves. I said it was a misunderstanding. She was about to eat me, Sachi explained. I don't think she was intending to eat you, Ike said, pushing his glasses up. The dominant race of the Andromeda Empire have organs on the palms of their hands, and that allows them to capture and consume eyeballs. I've seen it before. Looks like some sort of lamprey. Sachi shivered a little as he said the last word. Let me finish. Ike wanted to touch his eyes, but wound up pressing his fingertip into his glasses. Taking his glasses off, he touched his left eye. Their practice of eating eyes has two meanings. Submission. He touched his right eye. And love. What? Sachi also began to rub both his eyes, thinking about which it was back then. Whatever the case, I don't think the princess really understands the difference. Those who submit to her, those things she conquers, those who love her, they're all the same to her. People who can't hurt her in an imperial succession battle. Huh. No wonder those Andromeda Empire assassins kidnapped her. Two birds with one stone, eh? I'm not getting involved in the succession wars. I can only help you support her better. Hey now, but not like that. I mean, doesn't she hate me the most? And what were the girls talking about at this very moment? That may yet be an eternal mystery. Vera is so beautiful, like a shining star in the universe. But boys at this age are always more petite than girls of similar age. Childhood must be let go of to welcome the coming of the adolescent years. It's not too late to think about it now. Real melancholy finally hits Vera. Death awaits in abyssal waves. As Vera and Sachi grew up, the chemistry between the four changed in subtle and inexplicable ways. Between the four? Enough with excuses, Sachi said to Ike. Vera will not cease pursuing you even if you never reciprocate her feelings. Ike was a symbol of a faraway land. He stood for the unknown, for that which was waiting to be discovered. A brave bird would never nest there, but would be forever adrift in the winds of admiration. Ike retorted. No matter which way you look at it, being 1,000 years old makes you an elderly person. Then we are well matched in age. The princess merrily chipped in on their conversation. When Sachi finally mustered the courage to declare his love, he met with the most dreadful fate. Remember the ancient sword that Ike and Vera received from the old ones when they first met? Nope. It was what Ike needed to propel destiny forward, but now Vera had her finger slit by its blade, and a malicious ancient virus snapped the life out of her. This is all your fault! Sachi grabbed Ike by the collar. If the tragedy had not happened, Ike would have laughed it off, for he was a gentle soul, but this time he slapped Sachi's hand away. Don't you know how to rewind time? Please, do it to save Vera, even the princess begged. You don't understand. Only the future can save the past, not the other way around. Ike bit his lip until blood came flowing down. A local myth speaks of a silver age when people enjoyed a seemingly endless childhood that could last up to 200 years. This only made their short maturity pain a pain to bear. To the others, childhood was long gone, but youth was forever beyond their reach, to be continued in Valor's melancholy without Vera. What? It's enough. Let's go home. The furthest place I've dreamt of is the Delphi where you are. Though the explanation is delayed, you should know that Delphi is the center of Greek mythology. Vera's melancholy, the perfect ending. Or is it? Vera's melancholy. To revive Vera, Sachi, Ike, and the princess embarked on a spectacular and thrilling journey that lasted 20 years. From battling Signor Inferno to slaying the Star Devourer, the trio had even rescued 2 galaxies in the Galaxy Empire and eliminated 4 species of ruthless interstellar worms along the way. When Vera opened her eyes, she found herself in the arms of Sachi, now a hero of cosmic proportions. To the dominant species of Andromeda, 20 years was nothing more than a few seconds. The princess looked lovely as always, but her countenance was a curious mix of genuine happiness and loss. Sachi, having lost an eye in his adventures, was now a tall and strapping young man. His flowing tears soaked into Vera's shoulders. Though still prone to tears, he was no longer his feeble-minded self. The years had been kind to Mike, who after all this time still had the same old smile on his face. I am but an echo of time, Ike said as he began his preparations. As I've said, the past cannot change the future, for the predetermined rules of equilibrium are slightly more powerful than me, but the future, with its infinite possibilities, could save the world. Ike transformed Sachi back into who he was 20 years ago, and time reversed itself to the day of their departure. Everything seemed to remain unchanged between the four, that they realized that the innocence they once shared was one thing they could never return. I am sorry for depriving you of your childhood, I said to him. Now go. The youth that you deserve awaits. I've witnessed every wonder in the universe for your sake, and this was how my childhood ended. Sachi summoned every last ounce of his courage as he stood before the girl of his destiny. I'll never reach my youth without you by my side. What will I answer be? Editor's note: the author of the Vera's Melancholy is now off living the high life with his royalties from the first 9 volumes. If you happen to see him in the corner of the universe, please help us to impress him upon the urgency of which we require the next volume. What will our answer be? Who knows? He's on vacation. Indefinitely. I would say that that's a good place to stop, unless there's a very short one. Look at this. I only have volume 1. Maybe I'll search for it. Yes. Pale Princess and the 6 Pygmies. Let's look it up. Unknown? What? Yeah. Apparently, it's just the one volume. Weird. I guess I'll read it. A fairy tale story that's been told throughout Teyvat for ages. This is part 1, which tells the story of the Land of Night and the Moonlit Forest. Moonlight Forest. In the distant past, the Night Mother ruled over the faraway Land of Night. Here no light touched the earth, nor did a single tree grow. There was no life here but the horrendous denizens of the dark. The Night Mother was the source of all sins, and the Land of Night was the embodiment of her evilness. The cruel Night Mother, who had neither heart nor mouth, was always watching the Land of Night, and her punishments were always unexpected. The only thing she could not bear was the occasional ray of moonlight that had made it through the clouds. The light that penetrated the walls of darkness always irritated her. The Moonlight Forest was the only place free from the rule of the Night Mother. Only there could the people bask in the bright moonlight and enjoy the grace it brought to the living. Everyone in the kingdom of the Moonlight Forest was born with fair skin, light-colored hair, and bright blue eyes. Perhaps the constant lack of sunlight and the nourishment of the moonlight was the reason for their beauty, giving them an appearance different from the abhorrent creatures lurking on the edge of the forest. Well, maybe reading that was a mistake. Let's go for try and do some collection of the Tokyo Alley Tales. Actually, that might be in the thing, right? Interactive map. Interactive map. Because it's just pages. Yeah, I think there's the pages. It's gonna take a while, actually. You know what? I'll do that in my own time. So I hope you guys enjoyed. That has been a reading session with your boy. I got the achievement for... Oh. Look here! Time Melancholy series, very good. And I got this thing. Whatever the hell this. Name card. Traversal. A traveler shall experience 10,000 tales, and each shall form a part of the traveler's soul. Very good. Well, that'll be it. Catch you guys later. Peace.